Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, it's May 10th. So you know what that means, right?
May the 10th be with you.
May the 10th be also with you. No, save all of the speaking like that for when we get to the Pope.
That's not even a Catholic thing. That's a
it's a Star Wars thing, but it's inspired by the May peace be with you.
Speak for yourself.
And also with your spirit. Don't mess that up at home, ladies and germs. It's not and also with you anymore. It's and also with your spirit if you haven't been to church in about 10 years.
You are listening to the biggest and only Catholic podcast.
No, from my understanding, there's a lot of them out there.
I believe it. I think they were some of the OG podcasters.
Speaking of Catholic podcasts, did you see that Jordan Peterson is launching a video series with the Daily Caller giving parenting advice? Everything is just the Bill Simmons podcast now. Jordan Peterson wants a little piece of Parent Corner. He gives a lot of advice about how to handle bullying.
Right, yeah. Gluttony, top 7 sin of all time? What do you think?
Right. Yeah, at least top 5 to 7.
Yeah,
If you were looking to get parenting advice from someone dressed like they're in the Hunger Games, I have a great show for you.
Oh, what a man.
No, May 10th means it's allergy season. So there might be a couple stray sneezes in this pod. I love the period of the podcast. Like we can always tell time. You know, we always talk about baseball being great because we can tell time. We can plot our year against the baseball season.
Mm-hmm.
You folks at home can plot your year against the episodes of Tipping Pitches in which Alex and I are both congested. How are your allergies doing this year?
They've been okay so far. I haven't stepped outside today. It's a little windy, so pollen's gonna be in full force. I know it's gonna hit me like a brick wall.
You're low-key like Bubble Boy.
What's Bubble Boy?
You don't know Bubble Boy?
No.
Look that up.
I know Balloon Boy.
Is that guy that does those Instagram posts with the inspirational phrases with the balloons? Who's that guy? Where did he come from?
Apparently, tariffs got him, and he's been downgraded to
fridge magnets.
Fridge magnets.
Exactly. I saw that today too. No, Bubble Boy is a movie from 2001 in which a young man has no immune system. A young man played by none other than Alex Baisley doppelganger Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's true.
And so they put him in a bubble so that nothing can pierce in and get into him and infect him and kill him. That's
My
Bubble
favorite
Boy.
thing about all these descriptions of the movie is the colloquial referring to him as BB. So, BB decides to travel across USA.
You can't call Bubble Boy BB. BB is reserved for BB King as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I was helping my sister with some yard work. I was driving a tractor this morning, and that was kicking up a lot of pollen. Yeah,
Farmer Bob has clocked in.
I was getting down with the blue collar workers of America.
Have you driven a tractor before?
Nope, it was my first time.
Wow.
It wasn't like a full-sized tractor.
Okay.
It was pretty easy. It was like driving a car in the sense that there's a gas and there's a reverse. And the only thing is that the arm, the scoop, that was a little bit different. It's like when you're playing a video game and up is down and down is up and left is right and right is left.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those guys.
Sure. Okay. Do you need a license for that?
Not on my sister's
real
private
ID?
property. Okay. I have a real ID.
I know you do. You were an early adopter. You were like a chance to give the government more money.
I was like one of those people who was getting my ID and they were like, you can do real ID or not. And I was like, so what does it take to get the real ID? And they were like, you have to bring in 2 more pieces of paper. And I was like, that sounds fine. So I did it. I don't know. Maybe it's a skill issue. I'm not really sure. You keep saying this about it being more expensive. Is it that much more expensive to pay for the real ID?
No, I think it's like $40 or something like that.
Okay. I mean, speaking as a man who still has his California driver's license,
I'm holding on, baby.
you just don't want to give up the great Republic of California.
Like, that's really what it is. Yes.
Right.
So much so that, in fact, that I have a New York address on my California driver's license.
And for you, this is like I want to stick to this because I just really love what Gavin Newsom has done for this great state, or what?
Yes, I want to support him in every facet of my life, really.
And you don't support women in politics, so you won't switch to New York.
The woman. Oh, I thought you were talking about Eric Adams,
the comparable governor. No, whatever Eric Adams is doing right now is so crazy. He's like at hookah bars, just posting like hard ass pics. I don't know what he's doing.
He is so cool. I think that him and Alex Rodriguez, unfortunately, would get along.
He's the first mayor for the Gram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you brought up Alex Rodriguez, because the cold open that I really wanted to do before getting sidetracked by allergies, because I wanted to get ahead of that in case there's any, coughing or sniffling or whatever on this podcast. The real cold open that I wanted to do came from a listener of the pod who has sent us so many great emails over the years. This listener is named Brian. Thank you, Brian. Brian sends us a YouTube short that I would like you to go watch right now.
What is private equity? Well, let me walk you through a private equity deal. A business is throwing off $200, meaning $200 of free cash flow you can put in your pocket. For this business, we're gonna pay 5 times. So 200 times 5 times is $1,000. So we pay $1,000. We can get 4 turns on the 200. So 2 times 4 means we can put $800 of debt. So you're gonna borrow $800. You're gonna come in with $200 to equal $1,000. Now the fun starts. You start cutting expenses. You start raising revenue. Now your 200 over the next 3 years goes to 300. Now when you go sell it 300. You try to get a 6-time multiple. So 300 times 6 is now you get to sell the same business for $1,800. Now don't forget, you owe $800 and you put $1,000 right in your pocket. That's why private equity guys drive all the nice cars.
What a kicker on that too.
I know. I'm really glad that you watched all the way to the end so that I didn't have to tell you.
This is what I needed to be doing. I didn't know. Why is this is this his actual handle? Yo, yeah, it is. Alex Rodriguez 1641.
He didn't receive that email from YouTube that was like, "We have handles now. Reserve your handle." He didn't get that one.
He took the auto-generated one.
A lot of things about this that I love. And by the way, for the listeners at home, when he says at the end, that's why private equity guys drive all the nice cars, they put up a little image of a Tesla Model S, which is
and David Rubenstein.
A couple things about this video. First of all, great basic math.
a lot of like thing I was mostly blown away by.
3, 400 plus 200. We're doing a lot of really tough stuff here. So nice work from him on that front. Second of all, my favorite part, and I think Brian's favorite part of the video, is when A-Rod turns. It's when the pivot happens. It's when the tentacles get wrapped around the private equity company.
Yeah.
He says, "This is where the fun starts. Now you can start cutting costs, turning a profit."
Well, as we know, one of his tangential rules to life is hire slow, fire fast. He loves slashing and burning. And look, someone's got to do it. That is hard work, right? Those employees are not going to fire themselves. Someone has to come in and make the tough decisions.
I have a couple production questions about this video for you.
Okay.
Why so many cuts? That's the first question. And while you ruminate on that one,
you had to go over the math on each problem.
While you ruminate and marinate on that one, what other? Well, you laminate on that one. Here's the other question: what's going on with that music?
The like elevator theme song.
Yeah, I think we could do better than that. Like literally, not we A-Rod Corp. Like we Alex and Bob.
Right.
Could do better than whatever that video was. I know it's just a YouTube short, but it's like a low quality, low res camera too. Like we could do better than this.
Are you saying we could do better than that for ourselves, or we could do better than that for him? Like, are you offering our services? Okay, to be clear.
I don't want to be giving financial advice on YouTube shorts, personally. I don't know if you do.
Nice. Yeah, speak for yourself.
I don't lie awake at night dreaming of doing that. I do wish that I got a clearer shot of what watch he's wearing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Looks nice.
The important issues.
Do we think he's a Rolex guy? I bet there's a way to figure this out. I actually think I Googled this recently.
I'm sure.
If there's one thing about me. Let's see. Alex Rodriguez watch collection.
I mean, he's done some fit checks, some video fit checks too. I'm sure he's talked about it.
He has a $700,000 watch collection.
There you go.
I'm reading SwissWatchExpo.com.
Now, is that a collection of watches totaling $700,000 in worth, or a collection of watches, each of which are worth $700,000?
It's my feeling that it's a collection of watches totaling $700,000. You have to remember, Alex, these are liabilities.
These
not
are
assets.
right. Exactly.
Okay. He is seems to be a Rolex man. He has the GMT Master. He obviously has a Daytona white gold.
Mm-hmm.
AP Royal Oak, Cartier Santos.
Oh, the Cartier Santos, yeah.
Rolex President Day date, of course. I don't know how they know about all this stuff. I guess, they're linking to his Instagram posts where he's posted.
So someone's already done the work. There you go.
Patek Philippe, Aquanaut. That's it. That's the end. Now I'm an endless scroll on Swiss Watch Expo, which we could be here for hours.
I gotta pull you out. Bobby, don't go towards the light.
Nothing that impressive there, honestly. I don't think he was wearing any of those in that video, though. So I'd like to know. Maybe we can comment. A-Rod, what kind of watch is this? A-Rod, is that watch an asset or a liability?
A-Rod watch reviews in his comments. 7.3. Really like the fucking hands. I don't know.
Really like the fucking hands.
Really like the face.
I don't think he's living his values, by the way.
Say more.
Like, he buys expensive stuff. And he's always talking about assets versus liabilities. He's like, what do you do with your first paycheck when you get into the league? I buy a car. I buy a watch. I buy jewelry. I buy an iced out necklace or whatever.
No,
he's doing stuff like that.
You buy a duplex is what you do. We know this.
My multifamily is an asset. Your house is a liability. Speaking of assets, Alex, there's an asset to this podcast that we must discuss, and that is his Holy Father, the 268th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. He's a Cubs fan. Just kidding. He's a White Sox fan. He's also named Bob. We'll talk about that. Plus, Rafael Devers hates the Red Sox. All that and more on a fantastic episode of the Tipping Pitches podcast. I don't know why I'm doing a different intro this week.
That was fascinaning.
But hey,
I'm going to let you keep rolling.
I'm Alex Spaisley.
And I am Pope Bob.
And you're listening to that aforementioned fantastic episode of the Tipping Pitches podcast. Thanks to the new patrons this week. Your names I didn't write this time because I was busy traveling for Mother's Day. Got any Mother's Day plans? Would you like to send a shout out Happy Mother's Day to your mother who's definitely listening to this right now?
That's true. Is this going to come out tomorrow?
We'll see. Yeah,
okay.
Probably.
All right.
Yeah. Mother's Day pod.
Well, then Happy Mother's Day.
Spending the first 20 minutes of the Mother's Day pod talking about Alex Rodriguez, allergies, and the Holy Father. Not a good look for two guys who live in Brooklyn.
Brutal stuff.
Tipping Pitch is not beating the heteronormative charges. Alex, there's a new pope. His name is Robert Prevost. His friends call him Bob.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
He's American. First American pope. 267 of them before this. None of them American. A rumor started on the internet that he was a Cubs fan. He's from the south side of Chicago. Someone said, Pope who's a Cubs fan. That spread like wildfire. Turns out, according to his brother, he's actually a White Sox fan. And we can confirm this based on reportage, as we say in the biz. He was at the 2005 World Series, Game 5. The Paul Konerko walk-off home run game, he was not only at this game, Alex, he was shown on the telecast. They cut to him in the stands. Are you trying to tell me that there's not a divine plan for all of us?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. Shouts out to whatever intern had to comb through and scrub through every game of that series to try and find him.
That's not a bad job.
No, not at all.
Just crushing some 05 White Sox.
We might just do that on any given day anyway.
That was a crazy World Series. They had no business winning that World Series.
No.
Remember when the Astros were in the National League?
No.
Remember when we had 16 and 14?
Yes, actually, that was cool.
That was cool. We used to do stuff like this. We used to have quirks, and now all the fun has been sanded down by Robert Dean Manfred Jr.
Wow, interesting. Got a pro DH Pope?
Pro DH Pope. Question for you. What is the most important aspect of this for you? The fact that he's woke? The fact that he's Marxist? The fact that he was a fake Cubs fan? The fact that he's a real White Sox fan? Or the fact that he's named Bob? I'll give you a couple more. The fact that he went to Villanova and studied mathematics? The fact that he moved to Peru and has Peruvian citizenship from 20 years of missionary work?
Awesome stuff.
The fact that he, again, went to Villanova, so he's probably eaten at Wawa at least once in his life.
I think there a lot of this rides on, frankly, how he signs his emails. I need to know, because I know he's fired off a few.
Do popes send emails? Because popes don't really do interviews. I was thinking about this recently.
I know, yeah.
We're not going to get like a wide-ranging 60-minute style interview with the Pope now.
Unfortunately not. We have the message out, but
we kind of missed our chance to learn more about this guy the moment he became Pope.
So what you're saying is we need to start scouting now and start talking to prospective popes.
Well, I think that a lot of people were doing that. But when this guy became Pope, let me tell you something. I tried to find more information on him, and only about 2 or 3 places had even written an article being like, who is Robert Prevost, Cardinal Robert Prevost? One of those places was the Associated Press. Another one of those places was The Guardian. And I believe the third place was CNN, maybe?
The Free Press.
And these were not like the Free Press, your homepage. These were not like articles explaining who this guy is either. These were like 75-word gallery slideshow SEO hits too. Remember that era of the internet? When it would be like, Orlando Bloom stepped out with girlfriend Miranda Kerr. Here's 27 photos.
That was very specific.
Those photos were making it to my Tumblr page back in the day.
They had a chokehold on you. Hey, I was reading Tiger Beat.
I truly didn't know what Tiger Beat was until I got into media and everyone was like, remember Tiger Beat? And I was like, yeah, sure.
You missed the boat on that one. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
Are they not still publishing?
Well, I suppose they are, but it's not really the heyday anymore.
Is it the heyday of anything? Is a question I have for you.
Of Pope
American
Crave,
popes?
maybe. Yeah. Frankly, my favorite part about this was watching Polymarket think that it could predict who the next pope was going to be.
I know.
I think it's awesome.
Polymarket flew like, too close to the sun.
And people are like, I guess it was based upon, it was built on the sun. Like, it was designed for this.
Speaking of the sun, did you see this quote from Elon Musk that was like, we have to go to Mars because the sun's going to explode? I know that he said a lot of dumb stuff, but I think that might be the dumbest thing he's ever said.
I didn't know that.
Well, the sun is going to explode,
right,
Alex. But the whole point of a solar system is that these planets are built around the same star, which is our nominal sun. So when the sun explodes, the whole solar system dies.
Right.
So whether we're on Mars, Earth, Venus, Pluto, canceled planet Uranus, or not, or wherever, Jupiter, it doesn't matter. We're all going to die. What are we going to gravitate around when that happens? It's actually the dumbest thing I've heard him say.
I know. Sometimes there was a period of time when I was like going to his Twitter feed to sort of see what he was up to because
that's the bleakest thing you've ever told me.
Self-flagellating like
long
that.
Series of bleak things that I know.
I know. But even I can't stomach that anymore. It's too brutal.
He said this in like an interview.
I know. I was on TV.
I heard on Trillbillies that apparently they're doing a company town called I don't remember what it's called. It's not important. But they have like a memes street.
No free publicity.
It's just like anyway, back to the American Pope. It's amazing that he's a White Sox fan. God's country is the south side of Chicago now.
Yep. Blood of Christ is an old style.
Correct. Sport Peppers officially were part of the Last Supper. Here's a question I actually have.
And Confession is now sponsored by DraftKings.
Wait,
25% boost on your next forgiveness if you use use the code Purgatory.
You could do a series confession. Do you think that the Pope being a White Sox fan means that Manfred can get a meeting?
I think so, yeah. Do you think he could have not gotten a meeting with Pope Francis?
I just Googled Rob Manfred religion. An AI overview is telling me that there is no publicly available information about Rob Manfred's religious beliefs. Tough. His personal beliefs are not part of the public record. Time to share, Rob.
Should I follow up to my email I sent him last week? He hasn't responded, but I could just double email and say,
damn.
Also, other question.
No, you're probably on his shit list now because you're getting...
Yeah, except you can't say that because I signed a confidentiality agreement.
Damn it. That was one of my topics for this week.
No, I'm sorry. Well, you could do it. They'll come and take.
No, I'm letting you have your. I'm leaving all this in, by the way. I'm just going to I'm going to redact the parts that will actually violate your totally NDA. That's so funny. God damn it. Now, to answer your question, no, I don't think that Manfred could have gotten a meeting with Pope Francis. Fucking JD didn't even get a meeting with Pope Francis. Remember?
Yeah,
he swerved him at the last minute and they passed each other in the hallway. People don't remember that wasn't an actual meeting. Pope Francis turned the meeting itself down due to health reasons. Turns out they were really health reasons.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
But he could have met him. He decided not to.
Yeah.
So I don't think Manfred could have gotten a meeting with him. I do think Manfred could get a meeting with Prevost.
You're probably right.
My mother informs me that the word on the street, the word on the Catholicism
in the group chats,
in the
in the Signal chats.
No, we don't use Signal. We're not trying to hide things from our Lord. No, the word on the streets is that he was chosen because he needs to steward the church in the right financial direction because of all of its financial troubles in the last few decades, as people have moved away from the Catholic Church. Now, I don't know where she got that information. I don't know if I'm repeating fake news, but it doesn't really matter to me because that is funny for the purposes of our podcast. Should Catholic Church collab with Major League Baseball?
You're saying that the Catholic Church has become a liability?
I would have to think that no matter what the balance sheets look like, A-Rod would consider taking over the Catholic Church an asset.
That is an asset, 100%.
Think about all the business you could do at St. Peter's Basilica.
You know,
he remodeled the Minnesota Timberwolves arena. Mm-hmm. Imagine what he would do to the Sistine Chapel, which I know is not at St. Peter's Basilica. I'm not.
You know what that is it's value investing, like he learned from his mentor, Warren Buffett.
Who are the 5 people around you? That says more about you than anything else. The 5 people around you are
John, Mark, Luke, and David.
That's 4.
And Mary Magdalene? I don't see. Like,
hopefully not Judas. All right. Do you have anything else to say about the Pope?
I think it's going to be really unfortunate when folks find out he stormed the field at Disco Demolition Night.
Do you think the Pope probably has a strong opinion about what whether or not it was a good idea to rehire Tony La Russa.
Probably. It's probably not the one we like. Actually, you know what? I've got a little faith in him. You know what?
Faith,
if he's got a little faith in God, a little faith in me, I have a little faith in him.
That's good.
This man clearly has suffered through decades of purgatory to see his team rise exactly once and then disappear
back to purgatory.
Right. So he knows suffering.
Hell hath no fury like a White Sox fan.
Like someone's scorned by Jerry Reinsdorf.
Right, that was good. Thank you for finishing my joke. I anxiously await the Pope throwing the first pitch at guaranteed rate field, which is now just rate field. The guarantee is not even there anymore. All right, let's talk about Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
He's mad. He's big mad in the press.
Mm-hmm.
He's laying it all out there. Rafael Devers was the everyday third baseman for the Red Sox for the last 5 years. He signed the largest contract in Red Sox history 2 years ago. He's signed for another decade. He's their best hitter, although he had a slow start to this season. I would say he's probably their biggest star. He's probably had the highest approval rating within the fan base.
Certainly the face of the franchise post Mookie era.
Correct. He's beloved around the league by even other fan bases just because of the way he plays. He mashes. He has a fat lip in. And it's always an adventure with him at third base. To that end, the Red Sox signed, notably, very good third baseman Alex Bregman this offseason. Many people were wondering, where is he going to play? A lot of people were like, well, he'll move to second. It's only a couple years. And then Craig Breslow and Alex Cora, Craig Breslow, the president of baseball operations up in Beantown, getting ready with all the lingo for when we go.
You're doing great.
Getting it ready. Up in Beantown, down in the Back Bay, ladies and gentlemen. Made famous from the film The Town when they robbed Fenway Park. That's what I know the Fenway Park from.
Right.
Wasn't familiar with this game before that. Breslow and Cora decided, no, I think it's probably better for the team if we have Alex Bregman, one of the best defensive third basemen in the league, actually play third base. And we don't put a bad defender in Rafael Devers at third base. And we DH Devers. Face of our franchise, signed for another decade. He's going to DH now. People had a lot of questions about that. People were like, is this a good idea to be paying this guy this much money in his prime for this long just to be a designated hitter? Will this have an effect on his routine? Will this have an effect on the mental side of his game to just be sitting for 3 straight innings and then go up and bat? First couple weeks of the season, it looked like yes. And then he kind of got back into form.
Well, and to be clear, he did not want to do this, right? At the time,
Correct.
This was a whole storyline in the offseason where he was like, I'm not moving off of third base. Like, they guaranteed me that I was going to play third base when I signed this contract. Obviously, it's under a different general manager, but
I don't think they did guarantee him that because I don't think it's in the contract.
Well, okay, sure, yes.
Words and negotiations mean nothing. Put it in writing. Put it in writing, everyone at home. So they moved him off of third. They said, you're going to DH. A lot of people were like, is the long-term solution with all bad third basemen, we wonder, hey, let's put him in the other corner, the less important corner. Let's see if he can play first. The Red Sox already have a first baseman in Tristan Casas. Now, we don't know if that's a permanent solution. I honestly doubt that Tristan Casas will be the first baseman for the Red Sox by the end of the Rafael Devers contract, but that's different.
Certainly. Well, they had spent the offseason, I think, trying to upgrade at first base anyway and trying to trade Casas.
But that's a conversation for a different day once you realize that, okay, we've come out of spring training and this is the roster that we have. Then Casas blows out his knee. They now don't have a first baseman, really. We could bring back Dahlbeck hours. That would be fine with me. Anytime you get more Bobs into the mix, it's good with me. And they apparently asked Rafael Devers to play first base, to learn first base on the fly. Keep Alex Bregman at third because he's great there and he's off to a tremendous start this season. American League Player of the Month for April.
Oh, okay. Look at you.
Yeah, check that out. The only reason I know that is because Pete won it for the National League, and so they were side by side
Oh,
a
that's
lot
fair.
on my Twitter. Here's what Rafael Devers said. Nah, I'm not doing that. You guys told me to get ready to play DH every day, and 6 weeks later, you're telling me that now I have to play first base. I don't want to do that. This has elicited, as one might gather, a lot of strong feelings in both directions. One side feels that this was mismanaged by the Red Sox to say to your franchise cornerstone, we're moving you off of the position that you have worked hard to learn how to play, even though you're not that good at it. And that carries more of a prestige within a team context than playing first base. It just does. Obviously, there are first basemen who have been important to different teams and have been captains and leaders, but more often than not, the best players play third base, shortstop, center field. Those are the leaders of the team, or catcher sometimes. Those are the leaders of the team from a defensive standpoint, and that is often where your best players shake out to be. But he didn't really have a choice because they were like, we're moving you off of third. So a lot of people feel that this was mismanaged by the Red Sox to then say, well, now we actually want you to play first 2 months into the season. Then there's a lot of strong opinions on the other side of this saying, okay, but it's like, you're a baseball player. You've played baseball your whole life. Many guys have learned first base on the fly to alleviate some overlap from a defensive context on a roster. Most notably, recently, Bryce Harper does not play the outfield anymore because as he was coming back from rehabbing his Tommy John on his throwing arm, he was able to come back quicker if he had to play first rather than having to rehab to the point where he could make a throw from the outfield if he had to. And also the Phillies just have a ton of bad defensive outfielders on the roster. And they're like, we can't possibly have this many bad defensive outfielders on this roster. So he did it. People feel strongly about this. Devers was very candid in how he spoke about this to the media. He named Craig Breslow. And he said that he was confused by how he's been treated by Craig Breslow and the rest of the front office. Notably, I thought he didn't really say much about how Alex Cora has handled this. Alex Cora, thought of as a pretty staunchly pro player manager, well liked by the players, able to be honest with them. He obviously has his own extended playing career to fall back on from experience. So I give all of that context to you, Alex, and I ask, what do you make of this whole situation? From a baseball fan perspective, but also from a tipping pitches labor versus management front office shenanigan perspective as well.
I think my first takeaway is that Breslow, being a former player, is not the silver bullet to running a baseball team that maybe the Red Sox thought it would be. This idea that just because he's been in a clubhouse before, that he can forge these relationships. He knows how to talk like a ball player, so he'll be able to get through to them. Maybe it was a little bit of a short-sighted idea to begin with anyway, but it even comes out in the Netflix documentary. He feels a little bit, part of it's he's new on the job, obviously, but he feels a little stiff. He feels a little robotic. He feels to fit that mold of the kind of new age general manager. It remains to be seen how much of his sort of acumen as a player, as a clubhouse guy or whatever, translates over. But the sense that I get is that if Devers feels strongly enough about this to actually come out and talk about it in the media, that he feels like he hasn't been treated very well by him, right? Obviously, I think the news came out yesterday that John Henry and Craig Breslow flew to go meet with Devers. It was really Henry who was kind of doing all the talking and supposedly sort of just letting him know what it takes to be a team player. I don't know. Who knows what they talk about? Soybean futures.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that meeting. Let me have John Henry explain to me how to be a guy who fits in.
But ultimately, I think the big picture view of this is that it seems like there is not really a coherent view of what the plan is for the organization. If you are sort of asking your third baseman, your franchise cornerstone to turn on a dime and play DH and say, dedicate your entire year to hitting, hang up your glove, you're not playing the field this year. Much like your mentor, Big Papi, did for this very team 20 years ago. And then to come back
8 years further into his career, but yes. Although Papi was a DH for almost all of his career.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But point being that like it, they're saying, hey, focus on hitting. Change your routines. Don't worry about fielding. 6 weeks later, they come in and say, you are going to hate us. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's like no one really comes out looking good in this situation, I think. But I am like, I don't know. I'm somewhat sympathetic to Devers' position, even if there are other players who...
His position, you say? That position being third, first, or DH?
Right. Or center field, maybe. If you
that was
him.
the funny part of this. Where Devers' quote, one of the things he said was like, what are they going to do? Ask me to play the outfield next? Should I say yes to that? It's really funny to imagine Devers playing the outfield. Meanwhile, you got Jose Altuve over there in Houston who's like, yeah, I'll play the outfield. I'm not afraid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's a team player. That's the guy who's always on the up and up.
That is. Uh-huh.
He's always played the game with nothing but dignity.
I don't know. Where do you land on this?
Just play first, bro. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe that makes me anti-labor. I get what he's saying in that it wasn't exactly managed well. And boy, do I have sympathy for being mismanaged. But I don't... You were mad about not getting to play third anymore, but you're not good at third. In a lot of ways, like defensive ability is kind of the most meritocratic thing on in a baseball organization and on a baseball field. Like if you suck at playing the position, it's going to get exposed and the team's not going to play you there anymore, dude, because there are people who are good at every position available as defenders and you can't just give away outs. Now, various defensive metrics grade him differently. I think from an outs above average perspective, like, let me pull this up.
I think it's something like Bregman is +6 and Devers is -6 or something like that. Like they're certainly moving in opposite directions.
From a StatCast fielding run value, he had one good year at third. He was worth 13 runs in 2019. So he was actually pretty good that year, which is weird because the rest of his career, -5, -5, -3, -9, -2, -6, -5. In total, he's -21 run value. Now, that's fine if you hit like he does, but that's not fine when you have one of the best defenders, one of the best third base defenders also on your roster. The question is like, do you want the team to be better or not? And the answer to that question is, if the answer to that question is yes, then the answer is put Bregman at third. Where I'm more sympathetic to the Devers side of the argument is, if you told me I'm going to definitely DH no matter what because we have all these corner infielders, then don't change your mind this soon into the season. But what was Breslow supposed to do? Know that Tristan Casas, who's like 26, was going to injure his knee and miss the rest of the season? Like, that's not predictable. Wouldn't you just want to be on the field more? Like,
maybe. I mean, I think like you also have to remember that you're dealing with professional athletes who like have a certain degree of pride too, right?
True.
And especially for a guy like Devers, who again, newly minted face of this franchise. I think there's probably a part of him that doesn't want to feel like now he is the guy who's going to plug the holes that pop up on the roster. We need someone to like obviously they're not going to ask him to play center field, but I think there's a certain element of him that's like, I want to know that you actually have a long-term plan for me and for the rest of the team, rather than saying, oh, like shit happened. Like, Rafi, can you go try and play first? Like, sure. I think that's fine. But
at the same token, like if you want to be the type of player who never gets moved off of your position for defensive flexibility, then be a better defender.
Yeah.
But if that's not what you do, then you have to accept that this is what's going to happen to you. You have to play on both sides of the ball, right? It's weird that I come away for this with like very little sympathy towards that argument.
Mm-hmm.
It would be one thing if they were like, hey, Alex Rodriguez, you're the best defensive shortstop in the league and also the best hitter in the league. We just traded you to New York. Now go play third. Oh, wait, that actually happened too because of Derek Jeter's ego. To me, like a thing like that is silly. This is not because of Alex Bregman's ego. Like, I'll only sign with the team if I get to play third. He said he would play second. He said he didn't want to, but he did say he would if they didn't want to move Devers off of third. But they did, and then they put Bregman there. And Bregman is just a better defender. I mean, if you want to talk about, okay, maybe they shouldn't have signed him at all, then sure. But he's been amazing. He's been their best player. So they definitely did a good thing by signing him and then figuring it out later.
Part of this feels like the logical endpoint to this, right? To moving Devers around like this. Like
the last thing that
if you approach him at the beginning of the offseason and say, look, we think it's time. Here's our 5-year plan for you, right? We want you to spend the next year learning how to play first, and then you'll be our 2026 first baseman, or you'll focus your routines on your offense. Like, I think that's fine.
One of the real culprits of this is that Casas is not good or bad enough to say Devers will never play first.
Right, exactly.
Or Devers will definitely play first.
Right.
He's too much of an undeveloped player to really know one way or the other whether or not we can totally move on from him or just cut him or get rid of him or whatever so that we can move Devers there and have that permanently. That, to me, that is an underrated part of this discussion, is that they just aren't sure about Casas because they believe in him and they believe in the approach and the talent, but the results haven't quite been there. And clearly around the clubhouse, some people really love him. Some people are less enthralled with his energy, but organizationally, they're not really sure what to do about him. And the thing is, where I totally understand where Devers is coming from is the lack of frank communication. If he feels like he's been manipulated by the front office, then that's not a good feeling, because if Breslow was not forthcoming about what he was asking and he wasn't coming to him hat in hand saying, look, I know we told you this happened, it was unpredictable, I'm really sorry, how do you feel about this? No, obviously if he wasn't doing it, but I'm not in those rooms, so I can't say definitively one way or the other. From the outside, I'm just you should probably just play first. I don't know. I mean,
right. Just play it. How hard could it be? Right.
I watch Pete Alonso man that position every day, brother.
The answer is it's incredibly hard, Bobby.
Wow, you set me up for that and I flopped it.
It's okay. You were thinking about Pete. It's all right.
I'm always thinking about Pete. Best hitter in baseball, not named Aaron Judge. Maybe when should we talk about what's going on with Aaron Judge?
I don't know, man.
Also, what's up with that? He has a 275 WRC plus.
I didn't realize how old he is either.
Yeah, he's 34.
Yeah.
He debuted at 28.
Yeah, I know.
He's too tall, Couldn't get the kinetic chain in line.
Right.
Late bloomer. He's 33. Sorry, didn't mean to age him up. You know what they say, 33 is the new 34. I have a question for you about age.
Okay.
What age, from now on, what age are you looking most forward to being? That's part one of the question.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want me to answer part one first?
No, I want you to just sit there in silence.
Okay. 65.
Really?
Yeah.
And por qué?
I think kids will be out of the house.
Okay, so you're looking for late life adolescence era.
Right, exactly. That's
you get to revert to your little fun hobbies.
I think that's
happy fun time.
Exactly.
That's my favorite phrase of late. I like
fun time.
I said that about my sister's dog today, who was just laying over there playing with a toy by herself.
Mm-hmm.
I was she's having a happy fun time by herself over there. Okay, 65.
That's good. Yeah, it's or thereabouts.
Now, did you choose that number specifically because that's when you're anticipating retiring? Because I have bad news for you.
Yeah, I don't. It's fine. Everything is fine. When does the tipping pitches IRA start paying out?
I mean, I'm already skimming off yours, so.
Okay, all right. That's fine.
How do you think I'm going to afford these watches that I want?
That's true.
We should set up our IRAs for ourselves.
Can we do that?
It's IRA, an independent retirement account. You can do whatever you want. That's the whole point of an IRA. We should ask our tax guy about that. Okay, that was part one of the question. Part two of the question.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, with Alex's 29-year-old brain. Sorry, you're only 28. With Alex's 28-year-old brain, 28 and 3/4. Back to an age, but you have to relive the whole year. What age? You don't have to start back from that point and relive like the last however many years. You just
it's just living that whole year. Yeah,
you live that year over one time, and then you come snap right back to the age that you are now. This is real potting hours.
I think
he's going to his phone, ladies and gentlemen. He's googling like, what ages can you be?
Right.
Like,
what are all the ages
your phone for right now? Are you going to ask ChatGPT right now?
No, stop. What year was this?
Oh, you're going for some photos or something? You're going through the Photos app?
There it is. That was 2022. How good of a year was 2022? 2022 was an okay year.
Why'd you choose that year?
Well,
A's still in Oakland.
And frankly, given the opportunity to take another picture with John Fisher, I might approach the opportunity a little bit differently.
Why is that?
I just might have more to say, given everything I know now.
Oh, okay.
Given the opportunity to stand foot to foot with him, our toes touching, 10 toes down next to John Fisher.
10 toes down with JJF.
I just think I might try and have more of a conversation with him.
That's the name of the A's YouTube series, like how David Rubenstein does that.
10 toes down,
10 toes down with JJF. Yeah. Wait, how's Dave Cavill doing?
He's KIA, dude.
He's KIA. I think you mean MIA.
No, I don't. He's going to work for
as a lobbyist, right?
As a lobbyist at the intersection of like sports and politics. Yeah.
Did you not connect with him on LinkedIn?
Ooh,
let's both go connect with him on LinkedIn right now.
You want to do it right now?
Bro, I'm all over LinkedIn. I get like 30 LinkedIn requests a week.
Wow. All right. Flex.
No, I don't like it. I'm telling you the truth. Dave Cavill.
Oh my God, dude. He's a lecturer at Stanford.
Oh my God. He's
Holy
a second
shit.
connection of mine.
Do you think that
we could take the class?
We could take the class. Second question, do you think that him and Alex Rodriguez have ever crossed paths teaching their courses at Stanford?
I'm sure they have. I did just request him on LinkedIn, by the way.
Okay, great.
I'll have some updates for you guys, hopefully, on the Patreon episode later this week. What were we talking about? Devers?
Something like that.
What age would you go back and be? So 2022, you were 26?
26, yeah.
Overall,
not.
Kind of at your athletic peak, if you think about it.
Sorry, that's true.
How did you spend that athletic peak?
Not well, Bobby. Not well. No, I think I'd maybe I'd go back to like high school age, you know?
Mm-hmm. Not me.
And just
I don't want to take a test.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
I guess you wouldn't have to nowadays on account of the fact that kids don't learn.
Right. Can I bring ChatGPT back with me? Blow the kid's mind.
No, I don't think so. not in my space-time continuum.
I'm going back to last week so I can place a bet on Polymarket on who the next pope is going to be.
No, you can't enrich yourself. Jeez. Don't you ever think about anything but money?
No. You know this about me. I've learned one thing, and that's assets and liabilities.
Liability.
Alex Rodriguez said Warren Buffett told him the 2 rules of investing are 1, don't lose money. 2, never forget rule number 1.
Speaking of Warren Buffett, what a career.
What a career.
Pour
one out for him.
I'm going to spend the last 10-15 here just eulogizing the great career of Warren Buffett.
Oracle of Omaha, baby.
That's right. And that's Omaha, Nebraska, which, as you know, borders which states? Yo, you didn't come to trivia this week, but we won, by the way.
What?
We got that whole ass
Like,
W. First
oh my
place.
God.
First place.
Breaking the news to me right now.
The list round this week
Mm-hmm.
was there are 9 states that border 3 and only 3 other states. So like if you border 4 states or you border 2 states, you don't count. Name 8 of them in any order. So you would have been useless for this list round is what I'm telling you. If you can't tell me what Nebraska borders, we didn't need you there.
Kansas.
It borders Nebraska? Yes.
Does it?
I believe so.
Great.
Nebraska. Google search. Maps. Kansas.
Oh, look at you talking all this shit about how I don't know what borders Nebraska. You have to use your Google AI
1,
to look it up.
3, 4. There's 5 more. Nope, sorry. 4 more. Nope, 5. Small.
Okay. Good to know.
Just
Maybe I'll find out one day. Driving through Nebraska.
listen, in the trivia round, maritime borders counted. That was a curveball.
Maritime borders.
Meaning, like, if there's a lake between your state and the other state, it still counts.
That's awesome.
We
I didn't
got
even
New
know
Jersey.
maritime borders were a thing.
We got New Jersey, but we missed Delaware, which was a real flop on my part because I was like, oh, New Jersey has to be one because it borders New York, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, and it's locked into the Atlantic Ocean on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And in talking that out, I didn't even think
think
that
of
means
just going
Delaware
down
is
the right.
also the same situation. Flop.
Interesting.
But it doesn't matter because we got the W.
Yeah, fair.
Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter.
You know
guys
what?
wonder
I'm
why
all
I'm in
about
such a great
processing.
mood? This is why. New Pope, first in trivia.
And newly anti-labor take about Rafael Devers. We are entering a new era here.
I'm not like he should be paid less money because he doesn't want to play.
That's what you
first.
said to me off air. That is literally verbatim what you said to me off air.
Millionaires versus billionaires. And I'm supposed to care?
Mm-hmm.
I think about doing bits like this sometimes. I'm like, there definitely are a handful of people who are listening to this podcast for the first time, and I hope that they can tell that we're being sarcastic. Like, these guys really care about the Pope. And in a way, we do.
We do. We really do.
Any other things that you want to chat through before we wrap it up here? Or you want to make this a micropod?
An hour-long micropod.
Yeah. That's a micropod by our standards.
I know it is. No, man, I want to talk about this. I just want to go back to Warren Buffett.
Okay.
I want to talk about this quote from Alex Rodriguez when he talks about going to get dinner with Buffett, which he would do every year for 5 or 6 years. He
Just
said
once a
because-
year? This is back to my whole thing about with A-Rod. I do think he's slightly overstating his closeness to Warren Buffett.
Well, this is during his playing career. He
I'm
would
not.
like-
I wonder, like, does Warren Buffett talk about A-Rod even half as much as A-Rod talks about Warren Buffett?
Well, he's quoted on A-Rod's website talking about A-Rod. A-Rod says
We could
because
quote A-Rod talking about us on our website. It doesn't mean that he actually said it or meant it.
A-Rod said because he was insuring me, he would always like touch my bicep and go, "You better be ready to go this year," showing me I don't want to lose any of you. I don't want to lose you any of my money, and I made sure that investment was good with me.
Warren Buffett's gonna bust out the calipers on our man.
Value investing. I don't know what to tell you. You buy and
Wow.
hold, baby.
That's
I'm long on Alex Rodriguez.
that reframes everything I feel about A-Rod and Warren Buffett's whole thing.
Right.
That's like weirdly homoerotic.
Mm-hmm. Buffett's got a lot of time these days.
That's what I do to you before every pod. You feel your bicep, and I'm like, you better be ready. Better be ready for this fucking bit I'm about to throw at you. You better be ready to hit this one. Can you shoulder the weight of me making a joke about and then having to bleep it in post?
You're gonna have to bleep that.
I know. I'm not afraid.
Great.
You know, one thing about me is I do the fucking work, Alex. If something needs to be bleeped and something needs to be cut, it's going to be bleeped and cut.
It's gonna be bleeped and cut, which is a lot of this episode, I think.
Do you think Pope Leo likes Fall Out Boy?
I think he's more of a Wilco guy.
Wilco kind of has complicated feelings about spirituality, though.
It's true. Chief Keef?
Chief Keef. Yeah, well, he might like Chief Keef.
Do you think he probably really likes the latest Chance the Rapper album?
There is a non-zero
he's at the
chance
convocation
now.
bumping The Big Day. He's like,
yep, sing it for me.
no.
You will sing it this week on Patreon, though. We got another Patreon pod coming up this week. The hits just keep on coming. We're on an incredible streak of totally incoherent podcasting over on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/tippingpitches. But there are 2 tiers that you can sign up for. $5 to support what we're already doing here and to get access to the Tipping Pitches Slack, the best place on the baseball internet. I'm going to trademark that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
TP Slackos. That's what they call themselves. And then there's a $10 tier, which gets you access to the Slack, as well as newsletters whenever we write them. And more importantly, 2 bonus episodes per month, bi-monthly, bi-weekly, 2 a month. Those all mean the same thing somehow. In which we do 3 up, 3 down, talk about 3 things that bring us joy, 3 things that take our joy away in the baseball world. Those happen every other week. If you sign up one time, just for 1 month, just to see what it's like, you get access to the entire back catalog, and that's going to keep you going for at least a few weeks there. You might just love it so much that you stick around. There's also an annual subscription option. If you know you want to be there, you get 15% off. That's $8.50 a month on a $10 value. I call that an asset. I don't know about you. I call that an asset. That's all I got for you this week. What about you? You have anything to close it out here? Come on, give me something. Feeling your bicep, and I'm like, come on, don't let me down here.
Right, you are. You're doing it right now. You're trying to squeeze the last few drops out of me.
Do you think people can tell when we are and aren't in the same place?
I think so.
All right, well, in that case,
I can.
Don't say the answer.
Okay.
Don't say the answer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a poll up on the old unnamed audio platform. Unnamed audio app. And you can vote. So if you listen on unnamed audio app, which is also known as Spotify, there'll be a poll on this episode page to decide, were Alex and I together or separate this week? Please know that your answer will affect me largely either way. Because I spent a lot of time mixing the audio and trying to make it sound a certain way. So
right,
be honest.
Neither answer is actually going to make you feel good, I think.
Nope. No right answers.
I don't know. Pope Bob, 785-422-5881.
Bob's are back.
Bob's are back.
Alex's have reigned supreme in culture
skyrocketing
for
in the
too
power
long. Bob's are freaking back. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Tipping Pitches podcast. Boy, I hope you come back next week to keep on listening. We'll see you then.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping Pitches.
Tipping Pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping Pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!